when people start a sentence with saying, as a man or as a woman or us men, we, followed by some statement that they're really sure of, they're always standing by a depersonalized group to make that confident statement. I often wonder why they can't start the statement with, I think, I believe, this is me, this is what I believe in. Whenever I found it hard to come to terms with a situation as a person, and I went out there to look for answers in books, in videos, I would find wisdom by others that helped me make better sense of the struggles and the things I was going through. They'd gone through similar things that I'd gone through. And there was a real solidarity in understanding and talking with these guys and learning and leaning on their words. But then as I felt better and more sure of myself amongst those guys, I started to feel as though I needed them. I felt at home with them every time I needed to make sense of the world and alleviate stress. And so, because the solidarity of men and talking as the group of men and being loyal to them, I started to talk for them, in defense of them, as them. I started to talk from the confident place that made sense to me, as the guys, not as myself, as the group of guys that I respected. I became less me and all men. And I hear this often when I try and talk to a person as an individual, like have a one-on-one conversation, trying to have a conversation between you and me about your thoughts and mine. What have you understood after chewing on real life issues? It's great to read the words and hear the words of someone who's more articulate and has put it together in a beautiful, poetic way that makes the light bulbs turn on and makes you understand things in clarity. And it just seems like they haven't chewed on the issues themselves and spit out their own thoughts through their own words. They're just repeating somebody else. And so they have his voice. They have the group's voice. The group speaks for them, not him. He doesn't speak for himself. The group does. Strength in numbers, if you will. So whenever I hear that as a woman or us men, we, blah, 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 followed by some righteous, confident statement, and I understand where that righteousness and self-assurance comes from. You want to feel like that. It feels really good to have that self-confidence. And I've done this many times in past videos myself when making objective observations about the differences between men and women to form some sort of baseline. It's rational and reasonable. You need that rational base. But I realized over time, I just kept rewinding the discussion about men and women, and I never moved from the base animal biology understanding and the frustration that would come in knowing this stuff, repeating it, and coming up against the same frustrations and your life not getting any better. You know, every day you go back to the group and press play on the same recording that you guys were talking about yesterday. When you go back to the same videos or you chat with the same guys, you don't have to say, so what did I miss? You didn't miss anything. We're saying exactly the same things in exactly the same lines with exactly the same phrases. You haven't missed a thing, human. When I wasn't around the guys, when I wasn't in these discussions, when I was on my own, getting groceries and dealing with my own life, I didn't feel any better. I felt like I was lying to myself because online I felt like I progressed, but where it was applicable in real life, I was standing still. I was still scared of the same things and hiding from the same things, but feeling like the more we could repeat the same reassuring lines, then surely repeating the same strength in numbers, phrases would strengthen me over time, right? No, because the guys aren't with me when I'm dealing with one person at a time in real life. And I just felt like unless I was speaking for the guys, for men, that I couldn't do it on my own. I couldn't speak for myself. I could stand up for the guys, for men, but not for myself. I couldn't give you my own words, but I could give you every man's word. And don't you dare talk badly about my brothers, about men. And that's where I place myself. But if some woman or someone talked badly about me, it's kind of like I didn't know what to say. Oh, she's putting me on the spot. I feel ashamed. But I wouldn't let them shame men. I wouldn't let them shame me as a man. I could say something about that. And this is what I think I was doing for a long time, and maybe you're feeling this unease as well. When you say as a man, and then you stand proudly by some sort of conviction, rather than the subjective, personalized understanding of you, that's harder. That's a lot more vague. and there's a lot more ways you can be wrong, rather than the collective one way of thinking we're right. One size that's objectively right and agreed upon by everyone is a lot more rational than your subjective way of thinking things will work. So think about, when are your reflexes much more as a man, as men, as a whatever? How often do you say that compared to, I think, these are my experiences, this is what I've come up with, in my experience, blah, blah, blah. Listen to how you speak about yourself and from what reference point you're confident. I think that in the past, when I found answers in a group of men, and I still do value the guys, value hanging out with you, value talking with you, but as individuals, there's a solidarity in us guys and a well of reflective knowledge as well. But when you're struggling to find your way through life, your particular way that other guys are not living and they can't help you, I think that why we speak as men rather than as Joe is that you're more secure speaking as 1,000 confident men rather than an imperfect you. The strength of 1,000 seems more sane and feels more sane than the uncertainty of one that could be wrong, and he's still trying, and you're still growing and modifying. That's a more insecure position, but I think it's a more honest position, because you're the only person that's going to live your life and no one's going to come to save you. Does making yourself bigger than you actually are, by calling yourself a man in the plural, just make you feel safer with the world of men behind you than facing the realization that you're on your own? Have a think about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Support the channel any way you can, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.